Hey y'all, editing M here. Just wanted to hop in before the episode starts to say you all should come to our live stream on Saturday. It'll be this Saturday, the 27th, from 11:30 to 1:30 Eastern. We are going to be streaming on YouTube. If you aren't already following our YouTube, why aren't you following our YouTube? Hope to see you there. Additionally, I just want to apologize that the audio for this one's a little rough. I goofed on setting up my microphone for multiple people. I've done the best I can, and I hope you're excited for the episode because it's a really interesting one.
Put on your headphones, get ready for a ride. These two crazy guys are gonna blow your mind. You better stop and listen, 'cause it's time for Good Sports Podcast, where everything is gonna be alright. Hello, testing. Okay. Looks like mine's working. You guys need to get on my level. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Good Sports Podcast. Today is so exciting. I can barely contain my joy and excitement. The day has finally come, but I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Hayes. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a software engineer in Boston, Massachusetts. And who are you, my co-host friend?
I'm M. I am a master's student in France, and I know a lot about numbers. And would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Will. I use he, it pronouns. I am not a master student. I am a logopedy, so speech language pathologist. I don't know.
Student?
No, it kind of implies because speech language pathology in the US is like a degree, but I'm doing an apprenticeship. Yeah. I don't know. Is there a word for that?
Apprenticeship.
No, but like for a student.
Apprentice, yes. Welcome to our young apprentice. Honestly, that was perfect. You did amazing. This is so exciting. I have been waiting so long to meet M's partner, who honestly until now I wasn't sure was real. You know how there's always the, oh yeah, my boyfriend lives in Canada, you wouldn't know him or any of his friends. That's kind of what this has been like. Apparently we've met in person and I didn't even realize.
Yeah, you wouldn't know him. He's, German?
That's a real country, right? So, oh my God, Will, how are you? How has your time in France been?
Good. It's been good. I've been here for 2 days.
Yeah,
This is the
today's
second
the
day.
second full day. You arrived in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I heard that you've been traveling a lot by bus, which really confuses me.
By plane this time.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, finally. M keeps telling me, well, it's $50 cheaper and it's only 7 hours longer, so I might as well just take the bus. And I'm like, bro, we have buses in America, okay? You move to Europe and you're not even going to take advantage of the public transit system, the train.
Within a single country, I think it's all good and fine and chill. But
Yes.
depends, obviously, if you're more on the countryside, then it's worse. And also, like, we are in France and in Germany, but Poland, don't even try with a train.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They don't have trains in Poland.
They do have trains in
Poland is very well connected to Poland by train. Poland is very poorly connected to anywhere that isn't Poland.
This is very interesting to hear. This is like debunking for me because all I hear from other transit nerds and just other nerds in general, which is basically all that I talk to, is Europe is so much better and they have no problems and their public transportation is amazing and you can take an Amtrak to Canada, no problem.
Some problems.
Okay, but Amtrak in the northeast of the United States is really different than Amtrak in the south of the United States.
This is true. So if I wanted to take a train to Will, my best bet would be to take a train from to Paris, then from Paris to Berlin, and then from Berlin to where he is.
Okay.
But, like, we both live in the relative south of our respective countries.
Okay.
So it would be like, doing a U
Yeah.
instead of anything that looks like a direct.
Well, I'm going to start off, Will, by exposing you. So I heard from M that y'all met on, quote, this is a direct quote, gay Star Trek Tumblr. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means to you?
What does that mean to me? Like, we both have blogs and we post stuff about Star Trek that
Yeah.
is gay, and we interacted with each other basically only through that.
We liked each other's posts and like we're mutuals, and then these sum total.
Some posts about being in Paris, and that's how I knew you were in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And I had responded like to two of those.
Yeah.
And that's the sum total of what we had talked. And then I was like, actually, I'm also going to be in Paris. Do you want to meet? And he was like, yeah. With no.
So he messaged me, and my thought process was like, all right, let's meet somewhere super
Okay.
public. Let's meet at the courtyard of the Louvre, which this was way pre-robbery.
Okay, first of all, this is way pre-robbery, right? This is,
And
yeah.
so I was like, well, this is probably one of the most heavily surveilled places on Earth. Perfect place to meet a stranger from the internet.
You would think, right?
I did
Apparently
not
not.
think their security password was Louvre. For starters.
Yeah.
I was like, well, meeting in the courtyard of the Louvre is probably the safest place to meet a stranger off the internet.
And like, okay, but what were you worried about? You know what I mean? It's like this person is posting on Star Trek Tumblr. No offense, Will. I'm pretty sure you could take them. Like,
You're like making the same calculus about me, and only one of us could be right.
I feel like I haven't really seen you guys match up, stand up next to each other. I don't know who has more physical mass.
He comes up to here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like below his chin. This is a non-video podcast, is it not?
Correct.
It never will be. So for context, M is 6'5" and Will
Yeah,
is
I'm
4'11". It's like, have you ever seen those straight couples where the girl is like miniature and the guy is like 6'5", and you're just like, I don't know how this works. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like a Great Dane Chihuahua mix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great Dane Chihuahua couples. Yeah. That really rolls off the tongue. We should really popularize that.
I know you've roasted on this podcast Em a lot for being a nerd, but I feel like I must take the L and count as the bigger nerd.
I don't even roast M for being a nerd. That is the least of what I roast M for. I roast M for having an evil spirit. Well, I have so many questions to ask you, Will. So I guess I'm curious because I've heard you guys have a bit of an unconventional queer platonic relationship. And I'm also in a queer platonic serious relationship. So I guess I'm curious like how that went for you guys, or like how you decided, this is like more than a friendship, or we want more of a commitment. Like, I'm curious from your perspective, Will, like how did that go?
I sent a long numbered message.
While I was in upstate New York for my nasty ass great uncle's funeral.
Oh. And wait, so you sent a numbered list? What was it, like a spreadsheet of why we should be together? Like,
No, it was like a numbered list of things you could want out of a relationship and what his wants and expectations and priorities were.
Yeah. So it's like the format was like question. Okay, here's what I want. Question. Okay, here's what I want. Question.
oh my
Question.
God, wait, can we actually see it? I would love to at least see a couple bullet points on this list. Like, I'm fascinated.
Just want to show to Hayes how long it is.
Oh my. Oh, and it keeps scrolling. Holy fuck. Okay, so for our audio only podcast, I will describe that M just showed me a WhatsApp thread that is extremely long. I'm talking NaNoWriMo 50,000 words long.
There's a read more there.
There's more. Y'all, WhatsApp can't even handle how long this message is.
I've read this for the first time in the gas station. Over the world's nastiest salad.
Why would you get a salad from a gas station? That's your fault. I'm sorry.
I can't eat bread.
Oh, fuck. I forgot that you can't eat bread. So is this like an interview document? Like...
It was more like, let's just get rid of all ambiguity and clarify everything that can be clarified.
I mean, In y'all's defense, though, I see so many couples who have been married for 3 and 4 years and they just then find out they have a like incompatibility that you cannot overcome, that they have never spoken about. And to me, I'm like, how do you get that far into your relationship and not discuss? So like, tell me more. You don't have to read the whole thing, but like summarize for me, like what type of questions, like what type of stuff was in this
I could
document?
just read the first paragraph of it, which
Yes.
like I think
Yeah.
has the titles of all the
Yeah.
subparagraphs.
Oh, it has a table of contents. It has an
Yes.
appendix. It has a glossary. It has a bibliography. Okay.
So I think I've been spinning this question in my mind, and I'm still not exactly sure how to ask it. But like it's three parts that are interconnected. One, future planning. Two, priority. Three, like one's needs, requests, boundaries, and impossibilities. Four, disclaimers, reassurances, labels, heart emoji.
It's actually kind of sweet though, like even though it's weirdly like an academic paper.
To me, one of the most difficult parts of relationships is figuring out like what is compatible between what you want and what the other person can do, and like what you can do and what the other person wants.
Yeah.
And that's something that's almost always, to a certain extent, subtext. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's so wildly different from how my queer platonic relationship is, which yeah, so I met my best friend in 2008 in my freshman year of high school, and we basically have been pretty inseparable since. We've lived together, we've made decisions together, we've supported each other, and last summer she had a pretty rough injury where she didn't have health insurance basically, and I was like, look dude, we're gonna be moving back in together, we've talked about raising children together, why don't we just make this official so I can put you onto my health insurance? And I think that was like one of the best decisions we could have made, because it gave me a security that I feel like I didn't have before. In a way, like we're legally bound, and I think that does give a level of like legitimacy, I guess, to society as well, because if I were to refer to her as my best friend, people are like, oh well, that means nothing. But if I refer to her as my spouse or my wife or my domestic partner or my life partner, all of a sudden that takes on a level of legitimacy and respect for that relationship that I feel it actually lives up to. So when you're talking about like planning your life, collaborating on life, making financial decisions together, making life decisions together, I think there is legitimacy to calling that a partnership, whether or not you have romantic or sexual feelings for each other. Like, I find it so weird that only relationships that involve sex are considered legitimate. Like, why do you care if we are fucking?
I know you're coming at it from like a polyamory as well as like part of your
Yeah.
relationship to like relationships and sex. And like I am quite probably asexual. It's none of my business. I am not interested in sexual relationships at this time. Please refer to my lawyer. Part of that is like you are almost infantilized to a certain degree if you don't have that kind of
Yes.
relationship. Because like we weren't using queer platonic for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not something I feel like I need to label it as. But then I was like, I want to talk to my mom about this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Like you just send your mom the 5-page document that is a numbered list of stuff.
The fucking constitutional preamble of your relationship. That would probably confuse her more.
anyway, so like having some sort of cultural or something that exists in the world as like it's basically that was helpful.
Yes. And I also think that queer platonic relationships really open up for people who are on the asexual spectrum to have these more legitimized and mutually supportive relationships outside of traditional boundaries, which is really cool because I feel pretty strongly that you can't expect everything out of one person. Like a person that I'm romantically compatible with, a person that I'm sexually compatible with, and a person that I'm wanting to nest with and build my life with and co-parent with and make financial decisions. I mean, for them to all be one person is just like absolutely insane. And I don't understand why there has to be a romantic or sexual aspect for me to find someone that I want to build my life with. Have you guys talked about having kids, or is that something that you want down the line? I mean, I know y'all are a bit younger than me, so maybe a different stage in life. Thinking about kids might be a little early, but I'm just curious.
I am 23.
You're 23. That is pretty young to be thinking about kids, but I'm assuming that's something y'all have talked about, so I'm just curious.
It was on the list.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm interested in having children at some point, hopefully, when that is, and if that is an option. I'm not gung-ho set on it or whatever. I'm wanting children. I've been wanting children, but like it's not must requirement. And like, so I don't want to be pregnant. You don't want to be pregnant. These very, very legitimate critiques of adoption and fostering. And I know that the conversation is also like country dependent to a certain degree,
Totally.
and we don't exactly currently know where we will be.
Yeah.
That's all something to figure out once job stuff is set in. But like, it was important to me to clarify whether you're open to having children, even if that ends up not being an option.
Yeah, because part of it also is kind of so much of adoption stuff is like they get to decide whether or not you are worthy to be given a baby. It becomes sort
Yeah.
of trouble if you're not from the place where the people are deciding whether or not you get to have that baby.
Yeah.
And then if you're queer also,
Having a non-traditional relationship on top of that.
I mean, they don't need to know
yeah, you
that.
don't need to know that. But
Exactly. And that's why it's great to just be like, this is just my partner.
Yeah. What age did you get divorced, Hayes?
Oh, at what age did I get divorced? I think I was 21 or 22. So
That's
younger than
wild.
y'all are now. Yeah. I was not old enough to drink at my wedding, BT dubs. So, yeah.
hashtag Florida moment.
And trust me, I tried. I tried so hard to drink on my wedding, and I got called out by a very angry drag queen and thrown out of the bar. Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Did you celebrate your wedding at a bar if you weren't 21?
Okay, so do you guys know what Hamburger Mary's is?
No.
It's kind of like a drag restaurant. It's a bar and restaurant, so you can go in there 18 plus. So, of course, they start calling everyone to the stage who's having a special occasion, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I just got married today and we're gay. And so they call us up and they're like, oh, y'all are all 21, right? And I'm like, yeah. So they start handing out shots to us. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I am going to be able to drink on my wedding. This is so exciting. My first shot.
On stage, in public. Wow.
With a drag queen. So then this guy, because of course I've been bitching loudly about how I can't drink because I'm not 21. And apparently someone heard and was like, don't give them alcohol. Take that shot right out of their hand. They're lying. And the drag queen was so, like, the disappointment in her eyes was so sad. And then I basically left in disgrace. So I got called out on stage in front of everybody for pretending to be 21.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Never to return to the glorious land of hamburger menus.
Do they even have those up north, or is this just a southern thing?
I don't know. All I know them from is Trixie Mattel loves to make jokes about them.
Well, they used to be cool, okay? I mean, maybe it wasn't, but to me, in 2015, it was cool. That was like one of the only ways that I could experience gay culture. So I was like, I love it. I mean, the food was also pretty bad. So
I thought you were gonna say something positive.
no, the food is bad. Because if you're under 21 in Florida, you can't really experience drag at all.
That's crazy. Back in 2015?
Yeah, especially back then.
2015 was when gay marriage in the States got legalized. So, like,
Yeah.
2019 was probably the sweet spot.
Okay, but like gay marriage got legalized in Germany, wait, let me lie, after the Trump election. It's like
Oh, wow.
2017, 18,
What?
sometime.
That late? I'm shocked, actually.
Yeah, we had not equal marriage, but we had like
Domestic partnership.
yeah, domestic partnership before that.
Boo.
I think we were like one of the first nations to premiere the concept of domestic partnership. And then let me just Google so I'm not lying. Maybe 2017. I'm so completely correct.
It's absolutely insane to me that Florida legalized gay marriage before Germany, because Florida actually legalized marriage before the Supreme Court decision. It did it totally on its own.
I mean, did you know it's still not legal in Italy?
I'm not surprised at all to hear that.
Most of my life, the Chancellor of Germany was Angela Merkel, and as much as we all miss her now that we have someone worse, she was very anti-gay marriage.
Wow. See, I had no idea.
Yeah, she's from the Conservative Christian Party.
What? The way that people would talk about her here is, oh, she's so liberal. They're so liberal in Europe. And it's like, clearly that's not true.
Wasn't she also like weird about abortion?
So much weight in that size.
She is very much deeply Christian in her values. Obviously, that means different things for different people. But, like, for her, that very much meant being anti gay marriage, being anti abortion, but also being pro immigration.
Okay.
Which is where the liberal stereotype, I think, comes from. Because in like 2015 or so, she was very loudly pro welcoming refugees and migrants.
Also, one of the other things is, I think a lot of the climate stuff.
Yeah.
She was meeting with like Obama and all of these people, and then like there was a really famous meeting she had with Trump that made him look like a buffoon.
I remember that. That's kind of like the only context in which I know about her is in that she hates Trump. And so I guess when someone hates Trump, I just assume that they have the opposite of his views, but that does not seem like that.
Even though current chancellor does not like Trump, and he is so racist. He's so racist.
Wow.
He
Tell me more.
so recently, one of the most recent controversies
Scare quotes around controversy for our audio only listeners, which is all of you.
is he made a statement about like the city image. You can see in the city image how Germany is coming to ruins or whatever. And what he meant by that is all the people of color in the cities.
Wow.
Yeah, and how we need to be starting to ship people away. And he said, if you don't believe me, ask your daughters, implying that they are getting regularly sexually assaulted by migrants.
What? I'm very alarmed to hear that. It's really interesting how we are hearing the same exact shit over here. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the Department of Homeland Security tweeted or twatted, whatever. They quote that they need to start re-immigrating people, repatriating people. So anyone who's not ethnically white, I guess, needs to go back to whatever country their family is from. And I guess they don't understand that there's people of multiple races like me. So I'm like, well, where the fuck would I go? Because I'm half white and half black. So are you sending me to Africa or are you sending me back to France? Because that's where my ancestry comes from and I don't want to go to either of those places. And it also just is so funny to me because if we're really going to talk about re-immigration or repatriation, then the only people left here should be indigenous people, period.
Yeah.
I forgot which country it was. I will look it up and then tell you in a bit. But one of the not taking in any more asylums things that has been proposed by our current governments is they want to make a specific contract with African countries.
Is it Libya?
No, not Libya.
Okay.
They have a contract with Libya, which is that's a different thing. But the contract with Libya is there's a bunch of prisons in Libya for people trying to escape the African continent via the Mediterranean Sea. And if they get caught in the Mediterranean, they get put into those Libyan prisons.
Put into prison so they don't just deport them?
Yeah.
The borders of the Schengen area are.
Fortress Europe, that's what it's about.
So it's a lot of the stuff that is now happening in the States about the border has been happening at the borders of Schengen
Wow.
for a while.
And Schengen, I'm sorry, where is that? Is that in Germany?
The Schengen area, part of the EU plus Switzerland. So once you get in, you can travel between with a passport. So to fly here from Germany, he can fly here from Germany with one
Okay,
passport.
gotcha.
I didn't even need to show my ID.
Thank you for explaining for me. By the way, I totally already knew that. It was just for our listeners who might not know.
I have found the author of the article I was referencing. It's Ian Urbina. He has done a lot of work on like ocean exploitation stuff and including the prisons in Libya.
Yeah, we should link that in the show notes for anyone who wants to read deeper. Is it written in English by any chance?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Great.
It's a lot more socially acceptable to be Islamophobic,
Mm-hmm.
saying explicitly that it is to be explicitly racist.
Wow.
Today we were in the museum
Mhm.
and one exhibit was on like social movements. And there was like the women's rights movement, queer movement, and legalization of gay marriage. And then the last thing in the row, the most recent social movement they referenced, were the protests about Charlie Hebdo. Have you heard of these?
I remember vaguely that people on Facebook were saying, Je suis Charlie. I don't know what it was about.
So, Charlie Hebdo, Hebdo short for weekly, is,
Is, I think.
unfortunately, a comedy.
Uh-oh.
Satire.
Satire. Scare quotes
So
about
many
both of
scare
them.
quotes. I love it.
I'd never laugh, but your mileage may vary if you're a terrible person. That is conservative. And instead of just conservative, I would say Islamophobic is their like number one thing.
Actually, now I don't know how it was before. Like, obviously they got attacked because they were Islamophobic, but I feel like since they got very much worldwide fame by being Islamophobic and getting attacked for it, it's now their thing.
Mhm.
Wow.
So they got targeted by someone who was Muslim as a response to the fact they wrote something very Islamophobic.
And by attack, do you mean, like, what do you mean?
Like someone died.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant they, like, wrote a mean.
I don't know that we can frame everything a Muslim person does as terrorism, but they definitely got attacked.
Wow.
And then it became a global movement for freedom of the press.
Oh my God. That is so stupid to me because it wasn't the government censoring them. It was one person attacking them.
Obviously, it's very sad that people died and people shouldn't be murdered.
That's so interesting because I had no idea that this had to do with Islamophobia at all. When did this happen? Like 2012? I don't really feel like I was that
15.
busy getting divorced in 2015, okay? I did not give a shit about international politics. Like,
And also, part of why I think it stuck around for so long is in so many active war zones, such as I hesitate to even call it a war zone, but like in Gaza, for example, journalists are intentionally
Yes.
being targeted. It was a Muslim who killed white people because of journalism.
journal.
Also made it stick in the public consciousness for longer than it does
Yeah.
now when
Literally, there's a systematic problem.
Yeah.
so, like, both Islamophobia was the inciting incident from the Charlie people and part of what lent it its cultural staying power.
Yeah, and I think like the framing as terrorism is also because it was 2015, right? So that there was generally a lot of panic around terrorism reaching Europe and
Yeah.
all that, and like the migrant crisis, and that played into all of that.
Quote unquote crisis.
Yeah, no.
No. This episode, we should call it the scare quote episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, this is actually like a really interesting perspective, and it kind of reminds me of, I think, something Emma was telling me about. I was like, oh, well, why don't you want to live in Germany? Like, it's so liberal. And they were telling me how they're really anti-Palestine, pro-Israel. What is that about? Like, what's going on? I feel disappointed that they have not learned.
That's the whole narrative, though. It's like we have committed a genocide since we have so completely done a 180. Of course, there's no anti-Semitism in Germany at all. We are so cured. Don't worry about it.
Bullshit.
It's now actually our expertise to know about genocide. And because we have this massive guilt against Jews, we must be supporting the state of Israel in whatever it does as recompensation for our crimes. And if they do happen to also be committing a genocide, well, that's just their right now.
Wow. And to me, this goes back to something I think we've talked about before, because I am a Jewish person. And to me, what I think is really anti-Semitic is equating the religion, the culture, the traditions of Judaism with the state of Israel, because I am not associated with the state of Israel. I don't support the state of Israel. Most Jewish people I know don't support Israel at all.
So you don't consider it to be your birthright to get to take a couple
No.
of weeks long trip
No.
there?
This is so funny that you say that because my mom is an extreme Zionist, and the whole time growing up, she would hate on Palestine the entire time that I grew up and say, well, as soon as you're old enough, you're going to go on birthright and you have to do it. And I think what's really funny that my mom doesn't realize is I don't even think that if I went to Israel now, that with how conservative and ultra orthodox their government is, they would not accept me as a true Jewish person because I am Jewish through my mother, which is how you are Jewish, but she herself converted to Judaism. And they don't consider you to even be a real Jewish person because of how conservative they are. They're like, well, your bloodline isn't pure. And if you don't see the irony of that, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I understand that being Jewish is not only a religion, like it is also a set of traditions. It can also be a genetic identity. But like to say no one is allowed to convert to our religion, we don't consider them to be legitimate. Like it's just ironic to me that she was the most vocal Zionist and they themselves would probably have rejected her if she ever tried to go to Israel and get citizenship or any benefits from that.
I think a lot of converts tend to be more Zionist.
Yeah.
Part of this is self-selection because most of the time in order to convert, you have to have like rabbis and stuff who will vouch for you.
Well, it's an extremely extensive process.
If the majority of people who are in charge of the conversion process are Zionists, only people who are Zionists will make it through.
Yes.
It's so insane how, like, since the Trump agreement, a lot of people have been acting like it's actually solved now.
Oh yeah, there's no news coverage in the United States. There's no mainstream news coverage of the Israel-Palestine war, genocide.
It's ongoing.
It is ongoing. There's no news coverage. It's absolutely abysmal to me. So first of all, I want to add something to our shit list. The New York Times. Fuck you, New York Times. I hate you.
I could not agree more. I feel like they've really had some opinions
Yes.
recently. And
I'm
if
sick of it.
you, dear listener, are not sure where this opinion is coming from, there's like a set of articles I can point you towards.
Yeah. Yeah. We should make those available and be like, this is why I hate the New York Times. Because instead of covering real news that is happening. So during the pandemic, I used to listen to the daily podcasts just to like hear what was going on and like things were changing so quickly. And I felt like it used to be like a good source of news. And now it's still in my podcast feed. And instead of covering people who are literally dying and being ethnically cleansed and being starved and being bombed, they're like, let me interview this billionaire and frame him as this genius guy. And it's just like, why are you wasting your time and resources and putting this out to people? Like, and that's the least of what they've done. Like, that's just something I'm annoyed by.
I have several gripes with the New York Times. Number one, they believe it is the sacred duty of journalism to endanger the lives of as many Palestinians as possible. Number two, they believe it is the sacred duty of journalism to endanger the lives of as many trans people as possible. Number three, they believe
agree.
It is the sacred duty of journalism to endanger the lives of as many minorities as possible.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I guess that makes me curious of what the news in Europe and specifically Germany, what is it like over there? Like, what is your mainstream news like?
So I haven't been very up to date with the news in a while. The coverage of Palestine is extremely lacking and generally very in defense of Israel. I feel like a lot of the news sources do identify as like center left.
So does the New York Times.
Yeah, they would describe themselves as center left, which is bullshit.
It's not the greatest, I would say. I feel like I've been listening now to a bunch of Le Monde, which is a center-left French news podcast. Well, they also don't do just podcasts, but I listen to the podcast. And like how they speak about Palestine is so much more empathetic with Palestinians and
Mhm.
Palestinian lives than any coverage I've seen in German media. There's also, so one of the news that I did used to keep up with, I haven't dropped them for political reasons, I just haven't been keeping up with any news, is also the Times, the site in German. They have also like had a bunch of really shitty articles about trans people. One of them was like a trans man and a trans woman having a discussion about like whether people should have access to HRT and transition care, and like they somehow dug out the one trans guy in the world who's anti-transition care in
What
order
the
to
fuck?
portray that as like a respectable opinion that they can print.
I didn't know that Buck Angel spoke German.
Can we add Buck Angel to our list of
Yes, I can add him right next to. I feel
yeah.
like I would hate to be in that room.
I don't want to be in that room, but I want to like peer into that room from like a one-way mirror and just see what happens in there between them. So they just like picked a random trans person that they found that doesn't believe in gender affirming care for some reason.
Yeah.
What is the point of this and why is it news? That's my question.
It's to keep the culture war going. And also because they know people will click on it. Not to talk about capitalism, but we live under capitalism. And so any journalism done under capitalism, you can't ignore the profit motive.
Yeah. Well, not to change a subject from politics, which we end up always getting onto a subject of politics every episode, which is fine.
So,
Oh, you had more. Sorry.
not about politics, but about how the gravitational well of politics attracts us all. So after we met in person, and after like I came home from France, we called like about once a week. We would talk for a couple of hours every week, and we would always gravitationally become attracted to politics.
Yeah.
I made a list in my mind about like positive, uplifting topics to bring up with you. And
We would get through all of them in like 15 minutes and then talk for an hour and a half about like the climate crisis.
Yep. You're describing our podcast. Like I come in, I'm like, "Oh, I have these life updates. Let's have some things going on." We always end up being like, "Fuck." Like
Unfortunately, you and I live inherently political lives.
and against my will.
Yeah.
I feel like every identity that I have has been co-opted, has been politicized.
Divorced.
Yeah, my inherent identities are politicized. My podcast bro identity is under attack by the liberal media. But before we start wrapping up here, Will, I just wanted to ask a little bit about your apprenticeship. I'm very interested. So I don't know why, but when Em told me you were doing an apprenticeship, I thought it was like in carpentry.
I said speech and voice.
I believe that you said that. Did I hear it? Did I internalize it? No. I heard apprenticeship and I was like, oh, like a blacksmith. So I just want to hear, Will, like, what are you studying? How is it going? What is it that you're going to be doing?
so speech language pathology is a therapy profession that deals with a bunch of therapy all around the area of your neck and mouth parts and language. So the part of language that's happening inside your head. So neurology is a big part of what we're learning about also. It's speech therapy, which means like for articulation. So if you have like, for example, a child who has a lisp, that's a speech problem often where like people don't have the coordination to make that sound. So you can work with that. Or like if someone had a stroke and has lost their ability to conjure up words, basically, or do grammatical structures. That's also something that gets worked with, which is a different part of speaking. It's like the speech separate from language, something that's worked on. Then swallowing is another thing that we do therapy for. Voice, so like teachers that have damaged their voice by having to be very loud all of the time and having no voice training is another group of people, or like trans people doing gender affirming voice therapy falls into that category. I think that's the big categories. Oh, there's also like stuttering therapy.
Do you see yourself working more with children, working with adults, people learning German, or
Adults. So people learning German, you would need to do a different thing, basically. I could probably via the VHS, which is adult learning institutions, I could probably try and apply there, but it is not what I learned or studied for and generally considered like a separate thing. But I think I would like to mostly focus on adults. I am very interested in like the neurological conditions that we work with and like working with Parkinson's and such. And then also like trans patients I am interested in working with, and those are mostly adults.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, it was awesome to meet you. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so happy we got to meet. Thank you guys for listening. This has been Good Sports Podcast. I'd like to give our weekly shout out to the Boston Public Library, which we no longer use to record our podcast, but which is nonetheless awesome. And yeah, shout out to Queer Platonic Love.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to shout out or plug?
So I want to call out that you just used this podcast to kind of get to know and
Yeah, this is like a very neurodivergent thing where I need to use predetermined containers in order to do social things. But all right, y'all, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening.
goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, Will again. I'm now back later, and I have come up with two things I want to promote and shout out. They are very related to each other. One is the concept of cop watches and your cop watch near you. Cop watches are very important. There is a lot of police violence happening. I was gonna say racist police violence, and that is extremely true, but there's just in general a lot of police violence happening, and none of it is okay. And there are cop watches out there doing really good and important work, and you can often support them by whatever means you have and just have a conversation about what your capacity is, what you can contribute, and they will work with you. So that is something that I think is really good and important. And if there isn't a cop watch super near you, there might still be like a cop watch a bit away that you can get in touch with. And there's sometimes online tasks to do, or they can just give you hints and pointers on how to be watchful, film the police, and all of that in your specific area. That is something that I really want to recommend. And then the second thing is I want to shout out the fundraiser for Gerechtigkeit für Quabbel. This translates to Justice for Quabbel. He is a man of color that was killed with multiple shots in his own home by police officers. He left behind two children and four siblings. The case is still open. There have been some complications. One of his sisters is a law student and super engaged in trying to get justice for him. And I really think and hope that this can happen for them. Cases against cops are always really hard and really horrible, but that's why it's important to pay attention, and it's important to help people out financially when it's possible. So that's why I want to shout out this fundraiser. And I hope everyone still has a nice day after this mildly depressing ending.
Good Sports Podcast, where everything is gonna be alright. Thank you for listening to Good Sports Podcast. I've been Hayes.
And I've been M, and this has continued to not be a sports podcast. Remember to follow us on Tumblr at goodsportspodcast.tumblr.com.
Our asks are open, so drop your opinions and you may be featured on a future episode.
Our podcast art was done by Ellis. You can follow them on Instagram at digitalfuture.cat.
Love us, hate us, let us know by leaving a review and rating us 5 stars on your podcast app of choice.
And remember to always be a good sport.